So I have chosen a 2011 historical romantic drama called The Dancer, also known as Sang Penari. The film is based on the trilogy of novels Ronggeng Duka Paruk
Duku.
by... I knew
Poor
that was
Duncan.
wrong as I was saying it.
Ronggeng Duku Paruk.
Ronggeng
Duku
Duku
Paruk.
Paruk by, get ready, Ahmed Tohari and directed by Ifa Isfansyah. It is set in a small village in central Java in the 1960s and follows a young woman named Srintil, played by Prishia Nasushon, and Rasas, played by Niaman Oka Antara, a young man who has romantic feelings for her. Shrintil loves dancing and dreams of becoming the village's ronggeng, a traditional dancer that is meant to bring good fortune to the villagers. However, only after becoming a ronggeng does she realize that she is also expected to perform sexual services for any male in the village that offers her a high enough dowry. Shrintil finds the custom challenging and degrading, but continues to perform the role, and gradually the fortunes of the village improve. However, Rasas is devastated and leaves the village to join the army. Meanwhile, the Communist Party member Baka arrives in the village and convinces the local farmers to join the party, provoking the wrath of the government and the army. The Dancer is an achingly beautiful and achingly tragic film. Tohari thoroughly immerses you in the lives of the villagers, their music, their culture, and their dreams, the unfulfilled yearning of the central love story, the clash of the old world of the village and the new world of the army, and the socio-political backdrop of the anti-communist purges all give the film immense gravity and emotional impact. However, the serene Indonesian landscape and the emotions of the characters also leave a powerful impression on you. So I would highly recommend The Dancer. It's a very sad film, but a very powerful and moving film. What did you guys think of The Dancer?
I'm a bit uncomfortable watching that.
You found that uncomfortable?
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
because of the lack of agency the main character has, Rindel. And the movie is actually not very long, right? It's only 90 minutes or so, or at least the version that I watched.
Yeah, thereabouts.
And I've asked, so it's based on a trilogy of novels by Ahmad Tohari, same title Ronggeng Duku Paruk. And I actually asked some of my friends who already watched the movie, what do they think about the adaptation? And they said, well, the age definitely are not correct because in the movie, Trintil and also Rasus were, I think, in their 20s or something, or early 20s. But in the novels, Trintil was 11 years old. And Rasus was 14, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, obviously they cannot show, minors in that kind of story, even though it's common during that era, I guess, for that kind of culture. But yeah, it's a bit, yeah, it's a sad movie and very, very little hope. I mean, compared to Marlena at the end, I was just, yeah, okay, this is sad. Oh, okay, communist. I think there's a scene where the villagers were taken, and that's just, oh my God, this is horrible. So yeah, it's pretty depressing, but again, but I really, I think, appreciate again the highlight on the rural living in the country, because we have too many movies already set in the urban areas. And even though it is still set in Java, but at least it has that kind of a setting that's not really explored in other movies. So yeah, it's nice. And also looking at I didn't know anything about Ronggeng before I watched this movie. So I found myself, looking in the internet, what is it actually? So yeah, it's apparently it's the type of dance is already since the 8th century. So it's really, really old type of art. Yeah, and actually the first impression is like, oh, this is like Memoirs of Geisha. And I don't know whether it's a culture or it's just, yeah, I haven't really made many research on that. But yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard to figure out why she wanted to be a dancer, because there seemed to be a couple of reasons given, because she obviously felt very uncomfortable, having sex with men she didn't want to have sex, or she didn't love, doing it for money, essentially prostituting herself or being prostituted by her grandparents. But she also loved dancing, and she seemed to like part of it seemed to be about the dancer seems to provide like a spiritual or a sort of cultural significance for the village.
Yeah.
Like they talk about they haven't had good crops since the death of the last dancer. She thinks that might help them, help their spirit, help their morale. And there's also a scene at the beginning of the film where her parents accidentally kill the previous dancer by giving her like poisoned food. So part of it seems to be about redeeming her family name, restoring honor to her family, things like that. So there seems to be a lot of pressures pulling her this way and that. Part of it is she loves dancing, but part of it is all these cultural pressures that are bearing down on her. And I think it is sad. I think the performance of the actress was really good. Like I could really see her struggling with those choices. I thought that was really effective, and also her love for Rassus. But the fact that the love for Rassus and her love for dancing just like kind of can't coexist. So that was tough. Like being an individual versus being part of a marriage or a partnership versus being part of a community. Like none of them quite fit together. You have to choose one or the other. I thought that was well dramatized.
Yeah.
What did you think, Matt? Did you get a chance to see The Dancer?
Yep. So I kind of I agree with a lot of Silvana's points, and certainly, I was a little down on it, kind of in the middle sections, and it was certainly a tough watch, and also in some of the first thing with seeing Rassus as such a literally bent over character, was a little off-putting for me, but the ending of this film is excellent, and really powerful, and that counts a lot to me in terms of storytelling. And so I would definitely recommend this film, just to kind of go through the journey and get to that point, as well as see some stuff about culture and tradition and the failed communist coup and all that. Was very fascinating.
Yeah, we were sort of talking about the clash of time periods in Marlena, and I feel like you feel it quite vividly in this story as well, because like what occurs in the village feels like it's from a much different time or a much different place. And then to bring in those influences of like the Communist Party and the military and the government trying to control their way of life, it feels like this clash of old world and new world. And old world just kind of gets obliterated and either destroyed or absorbed into the new world. I guess Rassus is sort of the example of someone leaving leaving his village and going to join another part of the world, where he has like, that was another question I had. What did you make of Rassus's decision to leave? Was it just, why did you think he did that?
I mean, it's for me, I think it was his, seeking transformation, and which is evident in his gaining confidence. I think he was, he's looking for kind of confidence and purpose, as as well as trying to kind of be the driving force of his own life. And then I also think perhaps a sense of community and brotherhood as well.
Yeah, I struggled with him. He was kind of he wasn't an active character. He was very reactive. He just kind of,
I agree with them.
He wanted this one thing in Shrintil, but because he couldn't have it, he just couldn't deal with it. Just very aimless and directionless, and just kind of, I almost felt, I couldn't figure out, did he join the army because he wanted to become his own person, or did he just want to be told what to do? Like, it was hard to figure out.
He was definitely... Sorry, go ahead.
Because of the situation of the village itself, it's portrayed to be very much, hopeless, and there were hunger, poverty and everything. And this, I think Rassus, as you mentioned before, he just wanted to have more than that, and maybe and after being brokenhearted for some reason with Srintil, I think he just I'll just go, and then he found another group of people who maybe to him presented newer ideas and everything, and then he just got very much interested. And he's not the only one, because it basically a lot of people also joined the party because of that.
That's a good point about the economic hardship that the villagers face. Like, it shows him working and then just getting nothing for his work, which feeds into the broader conflict with the communists. But like, it is a place. Yeah, the army is a place where he can get money, get a job, get food, have a place to live and sleep. But yeah, also, as you say, community. Like, everyone wants a community, and it seemed like his community was Srintil, and he felt rejected by it or didn't fit into it, and just left it. But there seemed to be some kind of bond. Like, he kept slowly drifting back there and talking to the villagers, and obviously felt guilt at what was done to them. But yeah, he's a frustrating character, because he could see what was going to be done to them and still didn't stop it or didn't try to warn them. So yeah, I feel like Srintil was the real hero. Rassus was just kind of this drifter.
Yeah.
You mentioned the end of the film, when we won't give too much away, but there's this amulet that kind of appears at various points during the film, and it belonged to the previous dancer of the village who died, and Rassus gives it to Srintil as good luck, or as some kind of omen that she should become the new dancer. And then it appears at various other points in the film. He finds it when the village has been attacked. What did you think the significance of the amulet was?
Yeah, I think it was there's definitely a piece of it that is about kind of preserving important cultural elements that perhaps would be diluted or destroyed by the government or other factors in that. So there was definitely kind of traditional and cultural importance to it, in a way that is positive and represents hope, rather than kind of being stuck in old values that are harmful. So I think that was a key component to it.
Yeah, I like that interpretation. Like, because I guess the big tragedy, apart from Srintil and Rassus being separated, was that the village was destroyed, and you never see those characters again. So you feel like this immense sense of loss, and the amulet is really all that survives of that. The amulet and Rassus, but maybe the one glint of hope in the film is that the amulet survives and is placed in the hands of another dancer, and maybe that's the spirit of the village kind of living on. That's the spirit of the old world kind of living on in this new world, maybe. But I like the fact that it didn't romanticize the village too much. Like, there's obviously a lot of things that are quite beautiful about the village and village life, but it's also quite regressive, and Srintil struggles with a lot of the regressive ideas, and Rassus finds if he doesn't quite fit into the community, he gets rejected by it. So I thought that I like that complexity, I guess.
There's a weird, well, not weird, but there's a comment in my group when I asked about this movie. To my friends who already read the trilogy, they said that, well, the movie, the setting is not village enough, to portray the ones in the novel. So I'm not so sure, but they give me like a reference point. So if you want to see a village that's more likened to the trilogy, then there's another movie that you can watch. It's a horror movie actually. It's called Perempuan Tanah Jahanam, but it's a good horror movie, I guess, because the director is Joko Anwar, and he's also one of the well-known director.
So, sorry, your friends were saying the village in the movie is different to what's described in the book?
Yeah. I think
it's too big or too modern?
No, maybe even too developed. It has to be more traditional.
Okay.
That's what I interpret.
Yeah. That's interesting. We talked a little bit about this in mentioning The Look of Silence and The Age of Killing, but this is one of the few films to depict the violent conflict that occurred in Indonesia during the 60s. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, this is the third film to do so. The first two were G30S PKI and Gia, which was only released in 2005. What did you think of that depiction?
Well, the first movie that you mentioned is actually a propaganda movie, and
really?
I remember during the when I was in elementary school. So every year on the September 30th, so the national television will just play that movie, and it's like very very long.
Is
so,
it?
And we're like almost brainwashed.
Oh, so is it like a government? Is it like a government movie to justify the killings? Oh,
yeah.
man.
But the second movie, Gi, I haven't watched it actually, but I heard it's really really good. So it's about an activist, a young activist, who's actually from also my alma mater, University of Indonesia, and he's known to be very vocal, and he died young. I think 26 years old while he was hiking. And also I think it portrayed his criticism towards the government. And even until now, if you mention something about communists or any kind of red stuff, and some government still sometimes destroys books that they're considered to be too leftist or something. So it's still very much a very sensitive issue.
Yeah, of course.
But it's slowly people are getting more more open.
Yeah.
We even have like a female member of the parliament whose family was accused of being a communist. Well, I think they are. She even got into the parliament, so I think the openness is already quite good. Even though I think that the trauma or there's still a lot of people from the new era, the Suharto era, is still in power until now.
Yeah, it must be really hard to talk about. I guess the one thing I thought was interesting about the depiction was how it doesn't really go into the broader conflict. It only focuses on the village and how the Communist Party member comes and talks to them a little bit. They don't even really do that much. They just put up some signs, but they're still targeted for violence. So I thought it showed how the macroscopic sort of communist, the conflict at the heart of the country even manages to affect these tiny little villages and hamlets and whatnot. So, obviously doesn't give you an overview of the conflict, but it gives you one small aspect of how it affected people, which is kind of the most important because it shows you the human cost. It's not just statistics, it's not just big historical events and politics. It actually affects the lives of individual people. So I thought that was good. But very, very, very hard to watch.
It would not pass the censor in the new era.
Yeah, well, that was something that the author of the original trilogy mentioned. Like he loves this adaptation, but he said, if I had written about the things that the film shows, I would have been executed.
Yeah, kidnapped and executed.
Yeah. Which I guess shows how things are opening up a little bit more in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, the right direction. And I guess film can be one way of doing that, negotiating that difficult history. I guess one last question. What did you think of the relationship between Shrintil and Rasas in terms of the chemistry, the romance? Did you believe their performances?
Chemistry, yes. I think both actors did a fantastic job in that part.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not I root for them as a couple, so that's another matter. Mm-hmm. That's why I also like the ending.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the hero and he is nowhere close. So yeah, no, I like the performances and the chemistry. It was just the situation and his response to it just were not good.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that the director or the production team tried to find like a local dancer, from Central Java, but they couldn't find any at the time, so they cast the actress But I think she's also got a lot of praises due to her performance, even though she doesn't come from Central Java. She's from North Sumatra actually, so different island.
I get it's hard for me to see how credible an Indonesian film is in terms of like ethnicity and religion and the depiction of cultural practices. Did it feel real to you? Did it feel like a realistic representation of a village?
Yeah, I guess so. In the 60s, I don't know. But yeah, I mean the performances of not just the main actors but also the supporting actors or even the actress.
Yeah.
And some of the sets that they are using, from the goat shed or cow sets, and the village hall or semi hall, and also the houses, Yeah, I think the prop or the production design did a great job. Now, but still, I'm kind of a bit curious about that movie that my friend recommended previously about. Oh, it's more to the novel. But maybe because they are, like novel readers who always say that, oh yeah, the books are better, blah, blah, blah.
You'll always get that. You'll always find that.
I always get that, including in, okay.
Yeah. I have found that watching these films, I've developed a love of Indonesian music. Like I love the Junga in...
Junga, yeah.
Junga, sorry, in Marlena. So I might check out some Indonesian music on Spotify after this.
Oh yeah. They have some good ones. Aside from Junga, the more famous one is Sepa actually from Nusa Tenggara.